Hello, my dear students. How are you? Today, we are going to study the poem The Palanquin Bearers by Sarojini Naidu. This poem is prescribed in the SYBA Compulsory English Syllabus, the new pattern syllabus, which is being implemented from this year, that is 2020. So, let us see what is palanquin. You must have seen the palanquin, or as in Marathi we say, palki. In the ancient days, the bride was carried in the palanquin by the palanquin bearers. The newlywed girl, she was carried by the four bearers, the palanquin bearers, to her in-laws' house. So, in this poem, Sarojini Naidu is describing one such bride who is being carried by the palanquin bearers to her new home, and what is the emotional condition of the bride while she was being carried, and what was the experience of the palanquin bearers. So let us read the poem first. Lightly, oh lightly, lightly, oh lightly, we bear her along. She sways like a flower in the wind of our song. She schemes like a bird on the foam of a stream. She floats like a laugh from the lips of a dream. Gaily, oh gaily, we glide and we sing. We bear her along like a pearl on a string. We bear her along like a pearl on a string. Softly, oh softly, we bear her along. She hangs like a star. She hangs like a star in the dew of our song. She springs like a beam on the brow of the tide. She falls like a tear from the eyes of a bride. She falls like a tear from the eyes of a bride. Lightly, oh lightly, we glide and we sing. We bear her along like a pearl on a string. So this is the text, my dear students. This is the poem. And in this poem, Sarojini Naidu is talking about a bride and an age-old custom in which the bride is being carried in a palanquin by the palanquin bearers. As the bride is being carried and the bearers are walking, carrying her, they are singing, they are humming the songs, and they are not, they are not tired to carry her, but actually they are delighted to carry her, and they don't feel the weight of the bride. The bride in this poem is being compared with many things like a flower, a dewdrop, a pearl, etc. The poem is very rich in imagery. The bride, as we know, she has a mixed feelings in her mind because she is happy as she is entering a new life, a new home. She is entering the new phase of her life, but at the same time, she is somewhat gloomy because she is leaving her parents behind and moving into a new chapter of her life. The palanquin bearers feel that we feel when we read the poem, we feel that they have the emotion of a privilege in their minds because they are doing their job very sincerely and they are very happy to carry the young girl. They are being carried from her childhood, and now she is married and she is going to her husband's house. So the difficult words from the poems, there are words like scheme, glide, float. All these words, they indicate toward how she is moving lightly, she is being carried lightly. The palanquin in ancient India bride, the women of the royal family, they were carried in a box-like structure which used to be covered from the top. And that palanquin was carried by the 2 or 4 stout men, and they were called as bearers. In Marathi, the palanquin, you can say it is a mena, in which the young bride was carried, and the bearers in Marathi, the word for bearers is bhoi. The pearl string is an ornament which in Marathi we can call it as motenchi mal. And the palanquin bearers, as I told you in the beginning, that they are not tired to carry her, but they are very happy. They are carrying her very gaily. And the stream here means brook, rivulet, or in Marathi we can translate it as zara. So these are the difficult words from the poem, my dear students. Now let us look at the biographical elements of Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu, she was born in a Bengali family in Hyderabad in the year 1879, and she died in the year 1949. She is one of the most famous Indian English poet, but along with writing poetry, she was also a freedom fighter, a proponent of women's rights and emancipation. She was an activist. She is also the first woman governor of United Provinces in independent India. And about her poetic career, she started writing poetry at very early age, maybe at the age of 12. She was very intelligent, talented girl, and at the age of 17, she went to England for further studies, for her higher studies. She studied in King's College London and even in Girton College, Cambridge. All her poems, they reflect the zest and the enthusiasm of a young lady. As well, her poems depict the Indian ethos and the everyday situations of the Indian lives. She was given the sobriquet Nightingale of India by Mahatma Gandhiji, and she has also written poems for the children. So this is about Sarojini Naidu. Now let us look at the summary of the poem. The palanquin bearers are carrying a newly married bride to her new home. The bride is feather light. Therefore, palanquin bearers are carrying her very easily. As bird skims on the stream, as the bird is floating on the stream, as the bird is flying on the stream, in the similar manner she is being carried by the bearers. She is not at all heavy. As the flowers sway with the wind, there is a wind and the flowers are moving their heads from here and there. Similarly, the palanquin bearers, they are carrying her. They are taking utmost care that the bride sitting in the palanquin, she should not be disturbed and she should not feel the strife of the journey. As love floats on the lips during a dream, she is also being compared with a smile on the lips. Palanquin bearers, they are singing songs. As I told you earlier, they are singing songs, they are humming while traveling during the travel to ease their strenuous work as well as to entertain the new bride. They are singing very happily and as if they are gliding with that bride because she is very light. They could carry her like a pearl in a string. In the second stanza, readers understand the emotional attachment between the bride and the palanquin bearers. Maybe these bearers, they are carrying her from her childhood, and now the small girl is now turned into a young bride, and they are very happy for her progress, and there is some kind of emotional attachment between them. Therefore, they are very excited to take her to her new home. They might be carrying her from her childhood and now they are taking her to the husband's house, so their minds are also overflowing with affection and care for the bride. And therefore, they are carrying her very softly, they are carrying her very gently. So she should not feel the jerks of the road and shouldn't be tired when she will reach her new home. See, my dear students, these are the days Why palanquins were used, why women were carried in the palanquins? These were the days as there were no transportation facilities available as such, and therefore the women from the noble families or the women from the landlords' families, they were carried by these bearers, and these journeys, mind my dear students, they were not as easy as they are now, because the roads were not so, what you can say, they were not so prepared as they are now. There were not tar roads or highways. The roads, they went through the forest, and there was always a fear that some dacoits, few wild animals, may attack the bearers or the person whom they are carrying, and it was utmost duty of the bearers to save their owner, to save the person who is sitting in the palanquin. So not only they are the bearers, they are not only carrying her, but they are very much loyal towards her family. They are feeling as if it is their duty to carry safely the bride to her new home, to her husband's home. So they are taking all care for the safety of the bride. She is compared in the second stanza with a star, a sunbeam, a drop of tear in the eyes of a bride. See, the bride is leaving her home, her parents, her siblings, and so she is crying. The tears are rolling down her eyes. These similes, these comparisons, they express the exact emotional upheaval in the mind of a newly married woman who is excited. She is excited to step into her new home and new phase of life, but at the same time, she is in tears as she is leaving behind her hometown, parents, siblings, relatives, friends, and childhood memories. As the palanquin bearers are well aware of her emotions, they are taking all care and carrying her very softly. My dear students, this poem recreates the Indian tradition, the old Indian custom and culture. They are depicting the culture, Indian culture. The poetess is depicting the culture in front of the reader's eyes, how the young brides, they were carried in the palanquin, and how or what was the emotional upheaval in the mind of the bride, or even in the minds of the palanquin bearers. So it was, as I told you earlier, the palanquin bearers, they were very brave and righteous men even, and they performed their duties of carrying the bride safely to her home. Uh, as if sometimes we feel that these palanquin bearers, they have taken an oath, they have given a promise to their owner that they will preserve the honor, they will uh, protect the life who is sitting, of the person who is sitting in that palanquin. The poem is not only projecting the emotions of the new bride, but as well it is talking it is also talking about the palanquin bearers. How were the palanquin bearers? How they did their duties very honestly and very, what you can say, dedicatedly uh, for their uh, owners, for their young brides. And sometimes these palanquin bearers, while they were protecting these younger brides from the attacks from the dacoits, they even sacrificed their lives for the sake of the uh, defense, for the sake of defending these younger brides. So I hope now you might have understood what is this poem about. So uh, thanks for watching. I hope you have understood. If you have any queries, you can post in comments. Thank you very much.